What's going on, guys? Today I've got another tutorial for you guys. I'm going to be showing you how to make the lead sound from my song G-Force. So stick around, you're not going to want to miss this one. So today I'm going to be switching it up just a little bit. Instead of using Serum, we're going to be using a free plugin called OBXD. I'm going to provide all the info for you guys in the description so you guys can go and download it. What it is an emulation of the widely popular synthesizer, the Oberheim X. It was used by artists such as Jean-Michel Jarre, Van Halen, Miles Davis, really versatile synth, and this is a really good emulation. Obviously, it doesn't quite capture all the warmth of real analog and all that good stuff, but like I said, still a pretty solid emulation. So before I get into it, I'm going to show you guys how it sounds. I've got some effects on there, but I am going to go over all that at the end of the video. So here's how it sounds. So as usual, the first thing that we're going to do is take and initialize the patch like so. And here's how it sounds initialized. I've gone ahead and turned off all the effects and everything. So here it is. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in order of each of these sections. And so the first thing I'm going to start off on is manual. And all we're going to do here is turn voices from 8 to 1. And what that does is simply makes the sound monophonic. So instead of where on 8 you can play multiple notes, we take it down to 1. Can't do that. It's just monophonic. Okay, now control, not going to do anything here, but on modulation, what I'm going to use this for is sort of like this really crazy vibrato effect. What I did was I took the depth wheel and routed that to my mod wheel, and I turned on sine under LFO, turned the rate up to around 1 o'clock or so, and I turned on oscillator 1 and 2 under frequency. So if you'll notice, when I turn the depth knob up, it's affecting the pitch of the tone. So as it goes up, it's going to get crazier and crazier and deeper and deeper. So like you said, I can kind of just go kind of crazy with a vibrato effect, do a very slight vibrato, or for whatever reason, if I just want to go crazy and just go in the middle of a track, you can do that. So next on to the oscillator section, and what I'm going to do is turn off both saws on both oscillators and turn on the pulse. And so now it sounds like this. And the next thing I'm going to do is take the pulse width and move it up to about 9 o'clock. And what that did was it took the pulse width and made it a little thinner. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is take oscillator 2's frequency and move that up to about 9 o'clock as well. It's not going to sound too great, but just bear with me, we'll fix it. Almost kind of has a sort of a chord quality to it, but not quite. But in order to fix that, all I gotta do is plop sync on, and now it sounds like this. That's a lot better. So next thing I'm gonna do is go down to Xmod and turn that up to just below 12. And on the pitch envelope, I'm going to turn that up to just above 12. Now you'll probably notice that didn't really do anything to the sound, but it will once I get into the loudness envelope and filter envelope section. I'm going to completely disregard filter. I'm just going to leave the sound wide open and move directly to the filter envelope. And what I'm going to do is take the decay and turn that up. So as you'll notice, as I move the decay up, it affects the pitch envelope sound more and more, and it gives it that sync sort of effect. So take a listen. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it and leave it right up at about between 1 and 2 o'clock. And that's the basis of the sound. And we're going to further shape it by bringing in some effects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up just a little bit and bring in the mixer. So you'll see here that I have a few plugins on here. I've got Camel Fat, which is a paid plugin, and then I've got Fruity Stereo Shaper and Fruity Delay Bank, which both came with FL, and then Old School Verb, which is a free reverb plugin. So I'm just going to go one by one. I'm going to turn on Camel Fat, bring it in, and initialize the patch. Let's see if I can do this quickly. Camel Fat, way up here. There we go. So many plugins, it's hard to keep up. I need to organize, but who needs to do that? So this is the default way that it's set up, and right now if I were to play it, it's gonna sound really, really crappy. And so what I'm gonna do is turn off LFO, turn off Magic EQ, turn off compressor, and turn off the MM filter. And so now I'm only left with distortion and master. And what I'm going to do first of all is I'm just going to take everything, all the knobs here on the distortion part, and turn them all down. So now it's just back to normal, but a bit quieter. So what I'm going to do is turn tube all the way up and mech to about middle. Now brace yourselves, this is going to be a little loud, but this is what it sounds like. Yeah, I know, my ears are ringing too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take and turn this down really low to about negative 11 decibels or so. That's a lot more bearable, so we're going to keep it here. The next thing I'm going to do is turn on the Fruity Stereo Shaper. I'm going to initialize it. Just plop another one in there. And this is what we've got by default here. So what it sounds like now, it pretty much just sounds exactly the same. No effects has been made. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the delay knob here and turn it up to about 4 milliseconds. Now what this does is it takes and turns, it generates two sounds. It's the same sound, but what it does is it pans each one left and the other right, and delays them by just a little bit, by however much you dial in. So whether it be 4 milliseconds or whether it be, you know, all the way up, which is 500 milliseconds. And you can go crazy with it, but like I said, I'm just going to take it down, keep it on about 4 milliseconds. And so you can hear it has a slight stereo effect to it, and I think that really does improve it. I think it makes it really wide in the stereo image, and really kind of makes it cut through the mix a lot better. The next thing I'm going to do is turn on the Fruity Delay Bank, and I'm going to plop a brand new version of that in there. And this is what the default delay patch sounds like. What I'm going to do is, under the feedback section, I'm going to turn it to ping pong, which makes the delays kind of rattle back and forth in each of your ears, depending on how much you turn the pan knob in the in section. And so what I'm going to do is turn the pan up just about to 2 o'clock. So now it sounds like this. So as you can see here, the delay is kind of bouncing just slightly back and forth between your ears. That's what we want. We don't want it to be too crazy, but just enough to widen the stereo image just even a little bit more. And the next thing I'm going to do is take the time and bring that down to 200. So now it sounds like this. All we did was make it faster. And since if we were to play a bunch of stuff, it would kind of be a bit too obnoxious, a bit too loud in the mix as far as all the delays. So you can hear like this. It's a bit much, in my opinion, anyway. So what I'm going to do is turn the filter here to bandpass, BP, and take the cutoff knob up just about to between 2 and 3 o'clock. That's a lot more bearable. And last but certainly not least is I'm going to turn on this old school verb plugin, and I'm just going to pop a brand new one in there for you. And this is what it sounds like by default. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the time down to about 1700, somewhere in there. And then I'm going to take damp high, turn that up to 10K. So what that did was just make it to where the affected areas of the reverb reach higher in the audible hearing range, if that makes any sense, the frequency. And what I'm going to do next is go to the EQ, and all I'm going to do here is turn the EQ mid up to 0, which is just going to bring back the mid section of the EQ here back up so that the reverberation is affecting the mids just as much as it's affecting the low and I. So here it is now. And the last thing I'm going to do is take the outgain reverb and turn it up to 1 so that it's a bit louder in the mix, quite a bit louder actually. So now we have this. And that is the sound. So you can do whatever you'd like to with it. And if you come up with anything awesome, send it my way, because I'd really like to hear what you guys are coming up with some of my sounds. So thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, you learned something from it, I'd really appreciate getting that subscribe button. I'm trying to get up to 100 subscribers just so I can change that URL, because right now it's something crazy like youtube.com/home, and you know, nobody can remember that. I certainly can't. So once I get that custom URL, it's going to be a lot easier, in my opinion anyway, to number one, find my channel, and number two, it looks prettier if it's not all bubblegum words, you know. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.